What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We are talking about chatterbaits again. And is this bad boy right here overrated, or does it live up to all the hype? Let's talk about it. Oh my God. Plug it now. Let's go. Let's go. So guys, I think we could all agree that the Z-Man Jackhammer is the industry standard for chatterbaits. And the reason I say that, if you're shopping for chatterbaits, or if you're trying to get into chatterbaits, or you've been throwing them forever, then you have heard of the Z-Man Jackhammer. And this bait is phenomenal. It's really hard to beat. And so it came out, I want to say it came out around that 2017 time frame. And the reason I want to say that is the first time I had ever even heard of it and fished with it was in 2019. We had a FLW, back when FLW still existed, an FLW college qualifier out here on Lake Gunners. Well, I'm on Gunners right now filming, battling the rain, as you can see it coming down on me. But anyways, we were fishing that qualifier. It was March. We had flooded conditions. We ran up in the river for the most part, kind of where the river meets the lake, starts getting narrow and stuff, and fished some grass lines that hugged tight to the bank. You know, water was flooded and muddy, so they were pushed up to the bank. And I was throwing just your typical, I think it was like the $4.99 Z-Man chatterbait back then, original chatterbait. And I was throwing it, and my partner had a jackhammer. And I didn't know he was throwing something different, because back then I wasn't into tackle. Like, of course I like tackle because I fished, but I wasn't like a tackle nut like I am now. I'll catch myself at like midnight scrolling through Tackle Warehouse trying to find some sneakier stuff. But long story short, I wasn't a tackle nut back then, so I had no idea what it was. We were throwing the B-Height Delight, and guys, let me tell you what, he was catching. If I caught one fish, he would catch 10 on that thing. And I was like, dude, I've got to have one of those. And we ended up having one of the best days that I've ever had of fishing. We caught so many fish, probably 75 to 80 fish. That might be pretty conservative because we wore them out. My biggest tournament bag, we had almost 26 pounds, and they all came on the jackhammer. So instantly I was glued. When they first came out, they were like $14.99. I bought a bunch a while back, and I got to the point where I don't even care how much they are because they're so good. I'm gonna buy them either way. I want to say they're like 17 to 20 bucks on Tackle Warehouse. I could be lying, but I'll have these baits linked in the description below. But anyways, guys, like, I'm gonna buy them no matter what the price is because they are that good. But anyways, we're gonna talk about the colors that I like, keep it really simple, how I fish it, what I look for, and just a couple tips to help you fish this bait more efficiently and catch more fish the next trip that you're out on the water. So guys, like I said, I like to keep it simple. There's really two colors, and I used to be a guy that would fish a ton of different colors. And I got to the point where I'm either like, okay, they're either on shad pattern colors, or they're gonna be on green pumpkin, black and blue or green pumpkin. I used to rotate between green pumpkin and black and blue a lot, but I got to where now I only buy two colors. Now they might not be like straight up white, like this one. If I wanna imitate a shad, I'm gonna throw this one. It's not completely white, it's got those chartreuse strands in it. But anyways, about 80% of the time, I'm gonna be throwing the green pumpkin. And the reason is because fish are always feeding on bluegill. Always feeding on brim, always feeding on crawfish. Well, I say always. They're always feeding on either brim or crawfish for the most part. And that's why I go with the green pumpkin, because, if I don't get bit initially, if I know there's fish in an area and I don't get bit pretty quick on the green pumpkin, that tells me, hey, something's up. They want a shad pattern. That's when I'll swap. But this one is just your typical green pumpkin. And as far as my trailer on this is a Z-Man Razor Shad 4.5 inch. And I like this bait in the late spring, summer, on into the early fall, whenever these fish are being more aggressive, like your grass flats and everything, offshore spots, because I got to where I don't really fish a chatterbait up shallow anymore, really. I like a 1/2 ounce, and 1/2 ounce is about all I throw. If I go up shallow, I'll throw a 3/8, but most of the time if I'm up there shallow, I'm gonna throw a swim jig or something. I've learned so much about the jackhammer and other chatterbaits in general this spring and summer. I've had the best year yet on chatterbaits, so I feel like I definitely need to talk about it and share what I've learned with you guys. Let's talk about the way that this bait is designed. What sets the jackhammer apart from other chatterbaits is this connection point from the head to the blade. It's a straight connection, no swivel, no anything hindering the movement of that. And what that does is it allows it to be tight to the head, and it just cuts through the water and hunts really, really great. It's really impressive how much it hunts. And you know, it was the Jackhammer was one of the first baits where you could cast it out there, and as soon as you start cranking the handle on the reel, it starts hunting, starts vibrating. You can feel it. You know, some of your cheaper, older chatterbaits, you know, it would take a while, a couple feet, to get that bait down and start running right. But as soon as you start cranking the reel handle on this bait, it starts hunting, starts doing its thing. So, you know, I can't tell you how many times I've thrown this out there, and as soon as I start picking up the slack on the reel, I get bit. And it's really important. It helps you catch a lot more fish. But yeah, like I said earlier, the 1/2 ounce is what I'm going to be throwing pretty much all the time. But as far as the green pumpkin chatterbait trailers, like I said, the spunk shad on there. And then if I want to downsize, like right now it's late summer going into early fall, it's about to get really tough. I'm going to start downsizing my baits, and that's when I'm going to swap to this 3 3/4 inch rally shad. And guys, I want to note, it's really important that you choose your trailers wisely. And you don't want to choose a trailer that's going to hinder the hunting action of this chatterbait. And this is what I learned. I used to be a guy that would throw a paddle tail swim bait on every chatterbait, and I had no idea, but it was hurting me very badly in the long run. Because if you buy a hunting style chatterbait like this Jackhammer or the Picasso shock blade, other chatterbaits like that that are designed to, you know, have that rock and roll, sway in motion, hunting, deflecting off structure and stuff, then you're gonna hurt yourself by putting a paddle tail on there. Now there's great times to use a paddle tail on certain chatterbaits like the Mini Max, more of your finessey design chatterbaits, but on the Jackhammer you don't want it. So what you're looking for is a straight tail, a slim body, and the razor shad and this rally shad have both of those in common. And what that does is it allows it to be as narrow as possible, and it doesn't take any of the action away from the chatterbait. So this one's got a little fork in the tail, slim body, 3 3/4 inch bait. Pairs very well on the Jackhammer and gives you that smaller profile for whenever these fish are getting finicky and downsizing as we get into the fall months. So say you're throwing the green pumpkin and you're not getting bit, you know that there's fish there, that's when I'm going to swap to this guy, the old white and chartreuse. And there's 2 times for me to use this bait. One, of course, is when I'm targeting fish that are feeding up on bait fish, shad, gizzard shad, threadfin, anything. And another one is, especially in the springtime out here on the Tennessee River, the water gets really muddy. And anytime it's got a stain or anything, this is a great bait to choose because of the chartreuse strands in it. So it's best of both worlds. And don't be afraid to throw this in clear water, because bass, especially out here on the Tennessee River, no matter what lake you're on the Tennessee River, they love chartreuse. And really any lake that I've ever been on in the southeast, at least, they love chartreuse. So don't let that chartreuse shy you away from throwing it. I've had a lot of luck, a lot of success this year on this bait. So rotating between the green pumpkin and the white and chartreuse Jackhammer, both in the 1/2 ounce sizes, has been a deadly combo. So make sure you have both tied on your deck at all times whenever you're on that chatterbait bite. And let me tell you what, boys, it has been on all year. It is crazy. Most of the time, like spring and early summer is when I do my best, but it has been non-stop from about February until now. Like, it's still going on strong. So as far as the trailers, on the white and chartreuse one, this is a 4 1/2 inch rally shad from X-Zone Lures, and I would be throwing this one in the green pumpkin, this size in the green pumpkin, on the green pumpkin chatterbait if they had it. But right now they don't. The biggest one that they have in the green pumpkin color is the 3 3/4 inch. So they should be making the bigger one here soon, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. But guys, this is the Pearl Silver Flake 4 1/2 inch rally shad. That's that guy right there. Very good. Doesn't hinder the movement like I was showing you earlier on the green pumpkin chatterbait. Does not hinder the movement, just allows that bait to really hunt. So guys, whenever you're fishing this bait, there's only a couple retrieves that I do personally, and I know I'm probably gonna get some hate for this, but I think one of the worst things you can do with the chatterbait is just straight retrieve it. Now, there are times that it works. Before you start hating on me down in the comments, there are times that it works. Most of the time in the colder months, you know, like a cold front moves in, just slow retrieve. And the Jackhammer, you can do it a lot more with a Jackhammer versus a cheaper chatterbait that doesn't hunt, because, you know, if you're slow rolling that chatterbait, it's designed to hunt, right? So it's going to be hunting through there, bouncing off, deflecting off rocks, structure, wood, whatever the case may be. And so it's going to help you in that sense if you're just slow rolling this bait. But my best retrieve, whether it's winter, spring, summer, fall, is to make sure it hits the bottom and slow roll it and pop it down. Slow roll it, pop it down. And you know, in the summertime you can reel it a little bit quicker, pop it down, reel it a little bit quicker, pop it down. But in the springtime, you know, if you're fishing like some pre-spawn or post-spawn stuff, offshore flats, humps, stuff like that, you're gonna wanna slow roll it, make sure you're maintaining that bottom contact and give it a rip down. And what that does is it causes that bait to dart down and it starts hunting along the bottom. And I can't tell you, I've caught hundreds on top of hundreds of fish doing that retrieve just this year alone. Now, if you're fishing some grass, you know, you're gonna want to do that, vary your speed based on what time of year it is. Water temp's cooler, you're gonna want to work it a little bit slower. Water temp's warmer, you can get away with speed reeling that, as long as you're maintaining that bottom contact or staying very close to the bottom. That's really key. You want to be bouncing off the structure and you know, letting that bait really work the way it's supposed to. But guys, if you're in grass, you're gonna want to do the same thing. Bury up in the grass, you're gonna want to rip it. You know, I've caught a lot of fish where I'm getting it up to the grass and then I just rip it up real hard. It causes the bait to jump up, rise really quickly, and then fall down, and then you start to retrieve again. A lot of fish have been coming that way, especially in the spring when that grass wasn't topped out yet and getting super thick. But guys, those are really the main ways to fish this bait. Like I said, I keep it simple from the color to the retrieve. And so we got to talk about the gear before we let you guys go. I like a 7'3" medium heavy rod. This one's a Silhouette. I've been jumping back and forth between the Silhouette and the Jacob Wheeler Series 2.0. I really like the Jacob Wheeler Series 2.0 rod a lot better than the Silhouette, but the Silhouette is still a great rod. I want to say the Jacob Wheeler rod is like $189, and this is a $99 rod. So for best $99 rod I've ever used. You know, I use these rods for jigs, Texas rigs, topwater, jerk baits, of course different sizes. I don't use the 7.3 for all that, but the 7.3 medium heavy is perfect in the Duckett lineup, because Duckett rods are made a little bit lighter than most of your other rods. So medium heavy is going to be a little bit lighter than, you know, most of your other brands medium heavy, but super lightweight, balanced rods, very soft, flexible tip on your rods. And so when you're throwing a moving bait, it's just hard to beat the 7.3 medium heavy for a chatterbait. Half-ounce chatterbait, you can throw the 3/8 on it too, but like I said, half-ounce is what I throw most of the time. And then you want a more mid-range reel. This is a 6:8 to 1 gear ratio Duckett Paradigm with 12-pound Berkeley Trilene 100% fluorocarbon. Really 12 to 15 pound is all you need. I know guys that go overboard and use 20-pound, which I have no problems. I boat flip, you know, I fish heavy cover, heavy grass, boat flip fish on these, no problem. 12-pound fluorocarbon, Berkeley Trilene 100% fluorocarbon. Hard to beat, guys. So what do you think? What's your favorite chatterbait? Do you think the Jackhammer is hyped up? Is it overrated, or do you think it's worth the money? Like I said before, I'm gonna have the links to all these baits down in the description below, to Tackle Warehouse and then the Exxon Lures trailers. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Stick around on the channel, watch some videos. We've got some exciting stuff coming down the pipe for you guys this fall on into the winter. So guys, thank you so much again for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Oh, big one, big one. He feels huge. Please get rid of this 214.
Oh, he wanted to jump, didn't he?
Daddy kept him down. He's not even that big. Dude, he felt so big.